38-year-old Bryan Salter was diagnosed with a rare inherited form of dementia. While he works, he understands where the future lies. He is participating with his sister, who also was diagnosed with a rare form of dementia, in the DIAN trial. DIAN stands for Dominantly Inherited Alzheimer's Network. And Bryan and his sister will be and have been advocating for dementia awareness. In fact, Bryan recently presented at the DIAN Family Conference, which took place between two international conferences in Chicago, the Alzheimer's Association and the Alzheimer's Disease International Conferences. I welcome Bryan Salter. Bryan, I mean, you're a young man, just barely over age 25. No, we did say already that you're 38. But you don't look at a year over 25, right?
I'd like to say.
Yeah, you still get carded at the store if you buy some. Never mind.
God, no.
So what I want to ask you is, how does a young man like yourself find that he has this disease? What made you get diagnosed? What made you get checked? What was going on?
Well, my father, such a great man. My father, Robert Salter, he was, well, pretty much all the men, not all of the men, but a lot of the men passed away from it. And my dad turned 43 the day before he had passed away from Alzheimer's. And
an awful birthday present, and such a young age, such a young age. And you were how old when he passed?
I was, I believe I was 16 years old, right?
Yeah. What
a
time to lose your dad.
Yes.
Right in the midst of when a young man needs his dad the most to help guide you through your teen years. And what were you doing before you were diagnosed? Because you were diagnosed, maybe about a handful of years ago, right? Maybe longer than that, actually, probably at 2010, 2009, somewhere in there. I think I read or heard in your presentation 2009 or 2010. And what were you doing up until then?
You know what? 2010. I think I was still in Atlanta, correct? Yeah, I was in Atlanta working in Atlantic Station in the heart of the city, working at a restaurant called Rosa Mexicana. It was at Atlantic Station. It's this huge work, live, play, eat type of place. And it was fun and it was wild and it was it was a good time in my life until it wasn't, but
a wild time for a young man coming of age. Yes. And then, and we should say to our viewers, when you're looking left, your mom, who also advocates and helps you, is sitting in a distance. And sometimes we do that when I do these Voices with Dementia interviews. Some of our participants will have a person sitting in the wings just to kind of help out so we don't get so stuck.
Yeah.
So, and maybe your mom can help me too, because sometimes I get stuck when I end up, seriously. And so what led, I mean, were you having symptoms before you went for your diagnosis? Were you having some kind of symptoms related to dementia or Alzheimer's, this rare form of Alzheimer's?
Well, you mean the time frame that we were just referring to?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe I was. No, I don't believe that. I think symptoms came a little bit later.
So you went to take these tests as part of this research at the, what is that, Washington University
In St. Louis. Mm-hmm.
in St. Louis, the medical center. And so you went because of your dad's diagnosis and all the people in your family. And you had a cousin also who passed at a very early age. Did he pass about the time that you and your sister went for a diagnosis?
I think it was around the same time. His name was Eric. Yeah, I believe it's around the same time.
And so that all of that whole confluence, if you will, of, oh my God, I'm losing all my family members here. I better go find out what's going on. And this rare form of dementia, tell me a little bit about it based on what you've learned in the time you've been involved in the studies.
It's the gene is called PSN1. It's a very aggressive form of early onset Alzheimer's. It's a death sentence for sure.
Of course.
Unless we do find a cure. Things that I'm doing proactive to facilitate finding a cure is that I'm in trial drugs. It's a lot. I'm so thankful to be in these trial drugs, by the way, and it's such a gift. But it also, I go to Emory. My sister goes to Washington University for hers. I go to Emory because I grew up in Atlanta, and I thought, if I'm going to go through this week of HE double hockey sticks, I can visit friends while I'm doing it, and make it a little better and a little more fun. But no, it's intense. It's spinal taps. It's
wow.
Very long MRIs, PET scans. The works. The lumbar punctures are the worst.
Pain-wise? Pain?
You know what? It's not too terrible bad. I'm actually kind of speaking for my sister. She's had spinal headaches quite often with it. I've been lucky enough not to have that, but she's had to lay down on a plane on the way back home after things. So anyways, it's there's good and the bad of the trials, but it's mostly 90%. So we're all so thankful, and it's so good. So.
And you said you're on medications now. How many different medications are you on that they're doing these tests on?
I'm only on one drug, and it's a trial drug. And it's a convenient thing because they send a home health nurse that comes and administers the trial drug at the home. So that's nice.
And how is it administered?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like almost like a clothes rack almost that comes and they put an injection into your side, and it drips it in.
So it is an injection, though, like in.
Correct. Yes,
okay, I was just wondering if it's a pill or.
Like a suction cup that sticks in on your side, and then the fluids run through.
Wow. And do you have any reactions to it?
The only really reactions I've had is it'll leave the imprint of the suction needle for about 15 minutes, and that's really it. I've been lucky not to have any.
And can you tell us what the name of that trial drug is?
I can't tell you the name of it because it's a blind study.
I see.
And I'm not able to. That's not true. Hold on one second.
But you don't know. Your mom will share with us the name of it, but you don't know whether you are actually receiving.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
Repeat what you said, please, Bryan.
The medication that I'm currently receiving is called Gantalum. I'm sorry, what? Mom, just come make your cameo.
Yeah,
please.
Please, we're going to get a cameo for Mary Salter.
You're not.
Just,
It's called Gantaluminad.
Gantaluminad is what she said.
Okay, all right, thank you. It's another one of those strange names for pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, I wish they just came out with a normal name, but
Why can't it just be feel good or?
yeah, you got it. So then, what are your symptoms currently living with this fast progressing rare form of Alzheimer's?
This is a hard question for me to answer because I do get embarrassed. But no, I do have short-term memory problems, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so
Elaborate on that.
there was. You don't want to elaborate on that?
Would you like me to elaborate?
I would, but I want to interject one moment of humor. One of the ladies we recently featured on Voices with Dementia wears a T-shirt. I believe it's her, and it says, "If I don't remember it, it didn't happen."
Right. I like that, and
Yeah.
I'm going to use it.
I like that too. So, yes, please elaborate on the symptoms. And again, you said you're embarrassed to share them, and I'd like to just take a step back and ask you, what makes you feel embarrassed when you've truly been diagnosed with a rare form of Alzheimer's? What makes you embarrassed to even share what's happening?
Well, first and foremost, when my dad started showing symptoms, I was embarrassed by him, which was something that I regret more than you would ever know. He was awesome. My dad was so supportive. He was always taking me to my tennis, even when he was sick.
And you know today that you didn't know better as a young man of 13, 14, 15, and 16 while your dad was living with it. You know that today, right?
I do. I do. I just wish I could have supported him more, for sure.
And I think he knows that and knew that because you are a young man coming of age.
Right.
So what is happening to you when you say short-term memory loss?
I mean, it goes the gamut, I'd say. Losing keys, losing wallets.
Do you?
I mean, appointments. I have to have help to keep appointments together, I'd say.
And who provides help with that?
My mom.
Your momager.
Yes.
I like that name. I haven't heard that before. Your momager. Your mom manager. Yeah. But momager is better because when we say manager, your mom is a momager. So I like that. I've never, yeah. So she helps guide you with that. Now, when you go to work, which you do, and what are you doing currently for work?
I work at Southern Home and Gardens.
And what do you do there?
I water plants, take care of plants. I sell plants. I frolic along in a field like a gnome, I guess. I don't know.
So customers come in and you help guide them to the plants?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm the newest spud there, but no, I'm finding my way and I enjoy it. I like to be around things that make me happy, that are beautiful and give me joy.
Good. And do you drive still?
Oh yeah. Hmm.
You're able to drive. Do you ever get disoriented when you are driving?
This is my mom's feeding you this question, so I'll answer it. Uh, you know what? I'm pretty new to Montgomery, by the way, Montgomery, Alabama. So I don't venture out much. My job is a mile away, by the way.
Oh.
So when I do like to go out, and mix it up with some friends, sometimes I take a wrong turn. I mean, anyway.
So
The validity of that is that I don't really know the roads here, but could it maybe have something to do with the also? Okay, fine, you win this round. But
well, you know what? And I'll tell you the truth of this as we try to raise awareness, dementia awareness, is this. Because you have been labeled with this disease,
right.
I think when you make a wrong turn, it instills a sense of greater panic in you than it does to a person who has not been labeled with this disease.
Right.
And I think that's the reality we need to face when we try to raise awareness, that with your diagnosis, that's always this umbrella that leaks and rains upon your mind of, oh my God, I'm forgetting this dementia and what is it? Is it? Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I call it scoping when I'm in a new area and I get totally lost. But I will tell you that years back, when my husband and I were driving across country and we went to St. Louis to see the Arch, we drove across the bridge over the Mississippi 3 times. The last time, the toll booth guy, now imagine this at the toll booth, he said, I'm not taking your money. He says, don't tell me you got lost again. And I said, yeah. And he says, how can you miss the Arch? It's there. And I says, not when I take a wrong turn and I'm deep near the stockyards and I can't see the Arch. So he said, just go. So it happens to all of us, and it makes it more challenging for you. I want us to understand that when we talk about this, because already it's a stigma. And do the people at work know that you have this disease?
Yes, I mean, yeah, they do know. And some very supportive people, but also, I have to engage with them about it, even when I don't want to, because I need time off for things. And so, yeah,
they do more needs, but then I would think that helps them satisfy hiring somebody with a disability.
100%.
Yeah. Now, yes.
My charming personality that they don't want to let go of.
So. Of course. And I agree 110%. So, what do you wish people knew about you as a young man living with this disease?
You know what? Gosh, that's a hard question. You know what? I don't know. It's super difficult. This is as much as I've talked about it in a long time, but yeah, it's very difficult. Sometimes I feel unaccomplished as a man, because I am working at it. I do love the nursery, but most of my friends are making more money, doing more things, achieving other things, and yeah, I mean, I feel left behind on that too.
That's a very humbling remark and a realistic remark, and it sounds like you're still paving the pathway of how you're going to deal with this in your life and integrate it. I can say this as an older person, Bryan, and I could be your mom, is you're fortunate that you have the family support, that you're not living on your own and having to try to figure out what to do. So you're fortunate. I mean, that's a double-edged sword, because
Very
it's a
double-edged.
constant reminder of your limitations.
Every day.
Yeah, that, you're a young man. I look at you and I say, God, you should be out there doing whatever your heart desires and achieving. And, you're not finished yet. There will be things that you will be doing that will have monumental impact, and you're just ramping up to that, in my opinion. But I do want to ask, because your mom is probably in earshot, but I'm sure she'll be gracious about whatever you say, because this is an important question, and that is, what message do you have for caregivers who care for people with Alzheimer's? Because it's important we hear what you have to say now, because as this disease progresses, we need to know how to provide better care for people who also walk in your shoes.
Okay. This is a tough one, but I'm definitely going to answer it. My mother, I love my mom very much. She means well. She's passionate about the subject. Sometimes I want to scream, because it could be. It's just like, before I walk out the door, have you brushed your teeth? And I'm about to be 39 years old next week. I'm gonna brush my teeth, and it's just things like that. Sometimes it's infuriating. It's degrading, but I know she does it because she loves me. But I need her to reel it in just a little bit. But I love my mom.
So what you're then saying is, for caregivers, we need to really, in a way, ask you for permission on certain things, and just say, hey, I want to ask you if you've brushed your teeth, because I don't want you to be embarrassed by having bad breath or stuff inside your teeth. So I want to ask you this, but I know that you're a grown man, you're my son, that's what you want to hear from your mom. And so I don't want to tick you off by asking you this. So help me. What do I do for you?
Well, no, I mean, I get that, but I understand. But it's, have you brushed your teeth tonight? Of course I'm going to brush my teeth. It's like.
Well, why do you think she asks you that question? Have you not on some occasions, or she just wants to make sure you keep your teeth?
Oh,
I'm asking, I mean, honestly, this is the kind of dialogue, if I were caring for you, if I were your manager, if you will, these are the kind of dialogue questions I would have with you. I'd say, Bryan, you're a grown man, you're doing all right. Just want to ask you, how do you feel about going to work today? Because, you are driving in a car, for example. Or, or you might run back into the house forgetting your keys.
Oh, okay, yes. And you know what? You've taken notes with my mom. Okay.
No, she didn't tell me any of this. I just know this because I've been in this field for a long time.
Yes. Well, okay. Check.
I'm sorry. I'm not in cahoots with your mom, I promise.
This is a conspiracy. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, poor baby.
I'm getting bamboozled.
Oh, poor baby. But, I mean, honestly.
My mom is great. She's good. She's amazing.
I only ask that because it's so important for us, and I think your point really is to have sensitivity, to observe, and to dialogue, so that, you know, it's like even when you're driving, to give you freedom to do the things you're able to do, but yet give you the freedom and the strength to then one day tell your mom, you know, I'm just not feeling right. Can you take me to work? And if she cares for you and supports you in such a way, you won't feel funny about having to say that to her. You'll feel that she gives you the freedom to just be who you are. So any final remarks before we close this interview? And I truly am thankful for the time we've been able to share and the laughs, but any final remarks that you wish to share? Any last words?
Do you want them to be like very poignant or a little laugh?
Poignant is good, and so is a laugh. So if you want to go for both, I'm going to hang in there.
Okay. No, people, well, do you want me to speak on my situation as far as early onset?
Well, just briefly, so that we can have some closure here for people. So if you can say a few words briefly, yes, that would be good.
What I would say first and foremost is if you can get into a trial, they're doing amazing things with the trials right now. And I really, truly think that there's going to be a cure for Alzheimer's in the near future. May not be mine, and other people that may be watching, but I really, but when I was at in Chicago, I actually got to sit with Dr. Bateman, and the things that he was saying, me and my sister both got to sit at a table with him, and he's brilliant, and there's things coming along that people really truly need to have hope, and it was just very inspiring. And so
that's exciting, truly. And you know, when I was caring for my father with Alzheimer's, he wanted to be part of a clinical trial, and so I went with him, drove him to that. And I find people who participate in clinical trials, for the most part, get top-notch quality care. And I really liked that. It was worth it.
Yeah.
All right. And so for the funny thing, what is the funny thing you wish to close with?
Funny. I forgot.
Well, you're the joke meister, so you know it's you're the joke meister. I'm sorry to have put you on the spot and broken that rhythm from the path of humor.
Oh no, you know, I don't know if I can come off the cuff with it, but I just want to say I love everybody. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, and we'll leave it at that then, and thank you.